Hello everyone! Today we're going to be discussing Halloween and kind of the history of it, and then two other more folk traditions called Dia de los Muertos and Samhain. And then I'm going to show you how to create a garland of marigolds to decorate for the fall season and to decorate our homes for these wonderful holidays. So, Halloween as we know it today was not always like that. People didn't always dress up, people didn't always go ringing doorbells and get candy, right? It originated as kind of this melting pot meshing of a couple different holidays, folk traditions or indigenous traditions. So one of those traditions is called Dia de los Muertos. Now, that is in Spanish, and it means Day of the Dead. Now, Central America, some South America, Spanish, people celebrate this holiday as a celebration of death, and the idea that on this day, which is October 31st, that the veil thins. Now, this veil is between the spirit realm and the living realm, and the almost wall or the veil between those two thins, and you can communicate or even see your ancestors. So while sometimes we think of Halloween as being kind of spooky, or we in Western tradition, United States Western tradition, we kind of, death is kind of a sad thing. In this traditional tradition with Dia de los Muertos, it was celebrated, right? So you are celebrating the life of this person, and on this day, October 31st, you are hoping to be in contact with those ancestors that have passed. So a couple ways that you would celebrate or decorate for this tradition are creating an ofrenda, which is an area in your house dedicated to celebrating the lives of past family members. So on this ofrenda, you would put pictures of ancestors or family members that have passed on, and sometimes you'd leave food offerings of their favorite food. So if you had a great grandmother that absolutely loved apples, you might put out a few little apples for her. And then you also would decorate with lots and lots of flowers. And one of the best flowers, or the most decorated with flower for this Dia de los Muertos tradition, is the marigold. And I got a bunch of marigolds, and I'm going to show you what we can do with these. Now, I don't really know much more about Dia de los Muertos other than people will decorate their faces in those sugar skulls. You've seen them. Someone will paint their face white, and then they will put these beautiful swirly decorations. You almost look like a skeleton, but it's absolutely beautifully made, and I'll insert a picture here. So the other tradition that I want to speak about is a folk tradition, and it's a Western folk tradition. I believe it was originated in what is now the United Kingdom and Norway, Sweden, Finland area. And it's called Samhain. Now, when you see this written out, it's Samhain, so it looks like Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain, and it's very similar to Dia de los Muertos, in where practitioners, people who practice this holiday or celebrate this holiday, believe that the veil is thinned. And it's a very powerful day, and you can communicate with people who have passed on. It's a day that, with its power, you can call on those ancestors to help you make decisions in your life, or to help you gain power for your life to make, decisions, or to move forward, or to, get inspiration. And in communicating with those ancestors, you can learn a lot about your past and a lot about your folk heritage. And Samhain is also celebrated by bringing natural things into the home. Pumpkins, gourds. It's a lot to do with cooking very special fall kind of meals, right? We're cooking up butternut squash. We're cooking up acorn squash. We're cooking hearty soups. And you're using herbs from the garden. You're bringing all that in. You're bringing flowers into your home, leaves into your home, acorns into your home. Bringing all these in to celebrate the turning of the season and to celebrate this thinning of the veil. Now, in our modern day Halloween, we have kind of gotten away from our folk traditions a lot. And while Halloween is all good and fun, I personally love the folk traditions more because I love how they incorporate the natural world. So today I want to show you how we can take natural things besides pumpkins and decorate our homes to celebrate this, changing of the seasons, this thinning of the veil, this bringing in, new life as we're going into winter where things are dying, leaves are falling off of trees. We're celebrating the life one last time before we go into kind of hibernation mode. So I went to the farmer's market this morning, as I do every Sunday morning, and I got, you won't even believe it, 2 massive bushels of marigolds. So marigolds are basically my very favorite color because they're like a yellowy orange. And I love just how vibrant they are. So you can choose whatever flower you want. So marigolds, like I was telling you, are a tradition for the Dia de los Muertos holiday to be hanging those around your house. And I really, really loved that. And I wanted to bring that into our home. But you can always choose any other natural flower that you want. There's something so special, I probably said this a million times, but bringing the natural world into your home. So instead of going out and buying plastic flowers or plastic leaves or plastic pumpkins or who even knows what they make these days, you're bringing something so beautiful into your home that Mother Nature grew for us to celebrate. And then when you're done with it, you can just compost it rather than it trashing the planet. So what you're going to need is a good amount of flower of your choosing. I like marigolds also because they're really thick and they're just big flowers. And then you're going to need some embroidery floss, or embroidery thread. So this is, you can pick this up, anywhere. I actually happened to get this at a thrift store. You can always check there. They always have some form of yarn or thread. It doesn't have to be thin like this, but something thinner like actual thread is probably going to break with the weight of all the flowers. So I would go with something this thin or thicker. And then you're going to need a needle that has an eye. Ooh, the eye is the hole in it that can hold your thread. And that's basically it. So what you're going to do is we are basically drying these flowers as we're stringing them. So you're going to take your plant. Let me see if I can get you a good example of how to cut it. So let's pretend I didn't cut this and this is on its long stem. You're going to see how the flower comes into this bulb here. You want to cut right above that. So this part goes into our compost, and that's the part that's up. All right, now if you cut too high, you can trim it up a bit. So I'm going to cut off a little bit more. Basically, this is what we want it to look like. Then you're going to thread your needle. You don't need to cut it yet because you don't know how long you're going to want it. So just thread them all on and then we'll see what happens. All right, so you're going to poke through the center of your flower. At some point, it'll poke through. Can you all see it poking through? And it's strung on. Oh, a little bit pollen-y in my nose. And you're going to string through all of them. Now, in your bunch, you're going to have pieces like this, where it hasn't bloomed. Now, don't throw those away. Just cut them off and pop them in some water and they should bloom, so then you'll get more blooms. Don't waste that kind of thing. It's lovely, and if it doesn't bloom, then whatever. So I'm only going to show you one bunch of this because then I want my daughter to come help me with the rest of it. But I will pause the video, do a couple of these, and then show you how it looks. Okay, so I've strung some on. It's so beautiful! So I'm going to be hanging probably one or two of these garlands around my home to celebrate. Oh, maybe I'll wear it as a necklace to celebrate this beautiful fall season and wonderful holidays we have coming up. I'm going to be setting up some pictures of ancestors that I have, mostly grandparents and then great grandparents. I don't really have pictures before that. And just set them up as a reminder that these wonderful people are why I'm here today, and that I'm hoping that they can send across some wonderful messages for my life. So I'll show you a picture of when it's all finally done and hung up, and I hope that you guys can make your own and celebrate these holidays in a more natural, wonderful, beautiful way. A couple other things you could do, just as quick ideas, is to get leaves, any fallen leaves, and string those as well without, buying plastic leaves. You can also get like little wooden clothespins and just clip up leaves and wonderful natural things that you see outside. And that's just a way to kind of bring this fall season to your walls without having to buy not natural plastic things. So I'm so excited about this. I hope that you all join me in creating and celebrating these wonderful holidays. So we put the first garland right above our couch over a picture of Meher Baba. Smaller garland over in my daughter's room above a little makeshift kitchen that she has. Like I said, these will dry out on their own naturally, and you don't really have to do anything. Just the kind of downward facing turn of the flower will help it dry. Enjoy making them.